Are you sleeping while the world works, or working while the world sleeps? That's why you're stuck. Mr. Chen's words were like a cold shower for Thomas. The secret lies in the 2 magic hours from 5 to 7 a.m. Just 2 hours a day, and you gain an extra 91 working days a year, equivalent to 3 months of breakthrough, while your competitors are sleeping. The system is clear. The first hour is for learning money-making skills. The next hour is for cultivating mind and body. Don't make excuses. Choose. The pain of discipline or the regret of being left empty-handed. Thomas wasn't lazy. From the outside, you'd see a man who worked night after night, regularly, disciplined, without complaint. But the problem wasn't that he wasn't trying. The problem was, all his efforts were going in the wrong direction. At 32, Thomas worked the night shift at a textile warehouse in a small industrial town. Every night, at 8 p.m., he started his shift, and every morning at 6 a.m., as the city began to wake up, he quietly returned home exhausted. His life repeated itself in a never-ending cycle. His room was a cramped space with a broken fan, a thin mattress on the floor, and a flickering light bulb, like his own hope. His clothes were worn, his shoes tattered, but none of that tired him out the most. What exhausted him was the feeling of being trapped. Every morning, on his way home, Thomas passed by brightly lit windows. He saw families having breakfast together, children getting ready for school, men in neat shirts leaving their homes to start a new day. And he wondered, why is my life so different? He didn't sleep when others slept. He didn't live when others lived. He was existing, but not truly living. Thomas had tried to change. He applied for better jobs, but without qualifications, without skills, every door closed. He wanted to learn more, wanted to advance, but after each night's work, his body only had enough strength to collapse onto the bed and fall into a heavy sleep. And then a thought kept repeating in his head, like an unquenchable whisper. Is this my life? Forever? The call came on a cold morning, just as Thomas had finished his shift. His sister's voice trembled on the other end. You have to come home immediately. Mom fell. She's in the hospital. Thomas's heart stopped. That 3-hour bus ride seemed endless. When he entered the small hospital room in his hometown, his mother lay there, frail, her thin hands still trying to grasp his. Her voice was barely a whisper. I don't have much time left. Don't live like me. Don't waste your life. Those words weren't just pain. They were a blow to his mind. Thomas sat beside her for a long time, looking at her hands that had worked their whole lives, yet remained poor. And for the first time, he didn't feel sad, but angry. Angry at his helplessness. Angry that life seemed to offer no way out. He went outside. It wasn't quite daylight yet. The clock showed exactly 5 a.m. The space was quiet, free from noise and pressure. Just him and his thoughts. And in that moment, a decision was made. This can't go on like this anymore. On the bus back to the city, Thomas sat silently, his mother's words still echoing in his mind. He didn't know what to do, until he noticed the man sitting opposite him. Neatly dressed, with a calm gaze, the man was reading in the dim morning light. What caught Thomas's attention wasn't the book, but the time. Naim, a successful man. On such an early bus? Thomas mustered his courage and quietly asked. The answer he received was surprisingly simple. I wake up at 4:30 every day. Thomas was surprised. But aren't you tired? The man smiled slightly. I go to sleep at 9 p.m. That's enough. The issue isn't how much you sleep, but what you wake up to do. He looked directly at Thomas, as if reading his entire life. You work the night shift, right? You're living against the grain. While everyone else is building their lives, you're sleeping. That's why you're stuck. Thomas was silent. Then the man leaned forward, his voice lowering. There's a secret that most people never know. The time between 5 and 7 inches the morning. That's when your life can change. Mr. Chen didn't say much. He just took out a small notebook and drew a simple picture. A house, Your life is like this house, he said slowly, and the problem is, you've never laid the foundation for it. You're just trying to survive each day. Thomas looked at the drawing, silently. Mr. Chen continued, his voice more certain. The time between 5 and 7 That's when you build the foundation. 2 hours a day. No more, no less. But if used correctly, it will change everything. He divided it very clearly. The first hour, build skills. Learn something that can change your income. No entertainment, no pointless phone calls, just learning. The second hour, build yourself. 30 minutes for the body walking, exercising. 30 minutes for the mind reading, thinking, planning. Thomas began to sense, this wasn't advice, this is a system. But Mr. Chen didn't stop there. 3 rules. No negotiation. Wake up at exactly 5 a.m. every day. Go to bed before 9 p.m. And the first week will be terrible. But if you get through it, you won't be the same person anymore. The next morning, the alarm clock rang at 5. No motivation, no inspiration, just a body exhausted after the night shift and a head full of voices. Sleep in, just for today. Thomas lay still for a few seconds. Then he remembered his mother, remembered her weak eyes on her hospital bed, remembered her words, "Don't waste your life." He jumped up. The first week, just as Mr. Chen said, was hell. Every morning, Thomas sat in front of his old phone, his eyes stinging, trying to understand each free Excel lesson. Numbers danced before his eyes, his mind was hazy, and at times he just wanted to give up. But he didn't stop. At 6 a.m., he forced himself to go for a walk. His legs felt heavy, each step dragging his own exhaustion. No one was there. No one cheered him on. No one understood what he was doing. Only silence and doubt. Will this really change anything? Day after day, he repeated the same routine. Study, walk, read, then sleep, then work. It wasn't glamorous. There were no immediate results. Only one thing was happening. Thomas didn't give up. Around the 20th day, something strange began to happen. Thomas woke up, even before the alarm clock rang. Limite night. He opened his eyes, no longer feeling the resistance he had felt in the beginning. No more internal battle between should I get up and sleep a little longer. For the first time, he wasn't dragged down by fatigue, but by something else. A bit. His body had adapted. But more importantly, his mind had too. The Excel lessons were no longer meaningless characters. He began to understand the formulas, to understand how data worked. Things that had once made him give up now piqued his curiosity. His 6 a.m. walk had also changed, no longer a chore. He began to appreciate the sunlight, the fresh air, the quietness he had never experienced before. And for the first time in many years, Thomas felt he was moving forward. Not fast, not groundbreaking, but clear, a little bit each day, one step each morning. He's no longer just existing. He's rebuilding himself. By the end of the second month, the changes were no longer internal, but began to show outwardly. Thomas didn't realize it immediately, but those around him did. "You look different," a colleague said when they saw him during his shift. Healthier, more alert. Thomas just smiled faintly. He didn't explain, because he knew what he was doing wasn't to impress. It was to escape his old life. In 2 months, he had completed more courses than he ever thought he could. Excel was no longer unfamiliar. Accounting was starting to have logic. Everything was gradually connecting. But the real turning point came when he started applying it. One evening, while working in the warehouse, Thomas realized the inventory management system was a mess. No one was keeping track of things clearly. There was no structure, and for the first time, he saw more than just problems. He saw the solution. That night, after his shift, instead of going straight to sleep, Thomas stayed up. He opened his computer and began building a simple Excel spreadsheet to track inventory. No one asked him to do it, but he did it anyway, because for the first time in his life, he wasn't just working to survive, he was starting to work to change his life. Day 87. Thomas was called into the manager's office, a room he'd only ever passed by before, never imagined he'd enter as an invited guest. The manager looked at him for a moment, then placed his hand on the desk. The inventory tracking system. You made it? Thomas nodded, his heart pounding. Where did you learn? Every morning, at 5 o'clock. A moment of silence. Then the manager leaned back in his chair, his gaze changing, no longer the look of a security guard, but of someone of value. We're expanding our accounting department. We need someone who understands warehouse operations and has basic skills. Day shift. Double pay. Thomas stood still. He didn't react immediately. Not because he didn't want to, but because his brain hadn't yet processed what was happening. 3 months ago, he was an invisible gatekeeper in the darkness of night. And now, a new door was opening before him. When do I begin? He asked, his voice soft but firm. Next Monday. When he stepped out of the room, the world was the same. But Thomas knew his life wasn't. It all began with those unseen 5 o'clock mornings. A year later, Thomas was no longer the man who walked silently in the shadows of the night shift. He walked into the office in daylight, neatly dressed, confident, and most importantly, he knew what he was doing. From someone with no skills, he had now become the head of the company's accounting team. Numbers were no longer a source of fear, but a tool that helped him control and create value. But the biggest change wasn't his job. It was his life. Thomas had brought his mother to the city. No more harsh fields, no more exhausting workdays. She was cared for. She could rest. And for the first time in years, she smiled more. The cramped room of yesteryear had been replaced by a small but warm apartment. No more flickering lights, no more feeling trapped. But one thing never changed. 5 a.m. Every day, Thomas still woke up at that time, not because he had to, but because he understood. It wasn't a habit, it was the person he had become. Thomas's story isn't a miracle. There was no sudden luck. No one came to his rescue. Just one decision, repeated every day. And that's what most people refuse to accept. The difference between someone stuck and someone moving forward isn't about how hard they work. It's about how they use those hours that nobody sees. Between 5 and 7 a.m., there's no noise, no pressure, no distractions, just you and your future. That's when you either build your life or keep procrastinating. If you're waiting for the perfect moment, a better opportunity, or enough motivation, the truth is, it will never come. But 5 a.m. tomorrow will come, and you'll have to choose. Get up or press procrastinate again. Start tomorrow. Set an alarm. Choose a skill. Commit to 90 days. It doesn't have to be perfect. Just don't give up, because one day you'll look back and realize your life changed not because of one big moment, but because of those small mornings when you didn't give up.